I was daily driving this thing. I was doing maybe 2 tanks a week, and you know, it's about 140 euros a tank, so it adds up quickly. But apart from that, as I said, I could only recommend this. I bet you I'm gonna have a weird, do I have a weird, yes oh, that is horrible because I'm arriving at lunch now. But anyways, yes, that is the conclusion. After 18 months, I wanted to take the car, to be honest, I just wanted to take the car out for a drive, and I thought I'd bring you along with me. And I was thinking about it before. It's now been a year and a half I've had this. Look at this, by the way. It barely, there's no lift on the 430 Scuderia, and it just about makes it over that. It's not as low as one would think, and this car's been lowered. But yeah, I want to take you along for that little drive, and just to give you my 18-month review, which is fantastic. I have enjoyed every single mile in this car, and I hope to be able to enjoy more to come. And if it's not in this car, I hope to be able to continue enjoying miles in cars such as these. So now I feel very fortunate, and if you are someone who's watching this video who's considering it, as I said, go for it. And if you are not yet in the position where you are considering it, let this be a source of motivation, hopefully, for you, as videos on YouTube were for me to, and still are for me, to look at these cars and aspire to them. And all this to say that, you know, keep striving and keep pushing, because it is worth it. That dream is you know, not the monster that some people will make it out to be, that it, you know, it won't live up to your expectations and don't meet your heroes and stuff. I've met my hero, and I couldn't be happier with it. So yeah, thank you for your support as always, and I hope you enjoyed this video and this new POV style. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, first things first, getting in this thing. Ooh. Okay. Why am I in the Porsche if we're going to be talking about the Ferrari today? That's because I actually park it in another parking, because this, as you can tell, is very tight. So we're gonna go pick it up. We take the Turbo S for that, and then ooh, that door nearly came close on me. There is traffic all over the place in Monaco these days, but this is a very cool Twizy. It's got a very pearlescent paint. I don't know if that will come off on camera for you guys. I haven't driven the Ferrari in a while. That's one of the things we're going to talk about now, but I haven't driven it in, yeah, well, I mean, since I've had the Turbo S. I've been daily driving the Turbo S and taking the Ferrari out for the odd occasion, which does make it feel even more special than it already did. Okay, that took longer than usual. Crazy traffic today. Quite a few Ferraris in this garage. Benny's Mustang, my Ferrari. Alright, so it's got the charger, you can see, plug right there, which is convenient for the battery because I haven't driven it in a while. So should start no problem. Did I park where I can open the door? Yep. Now cross your fingers, guys. I'm going to start it valves closed, because or else all the other car alarms are going to go off. Yes! Hello, Porsche. So the difference is this one doesn't need to go on the charger. So much easier to park as well. There we go. We close the sunroof. Ciao, ciao. Okay. Sport mode on. You know what, let's even go and race. All right, let's go. So the engine's cold now, so I can't go quick, but I can open the valves. I just can't go up in the rev range yet. We're gonna let it warm up slowly because it hasn't been driven in a while. Even without going for it, it makes such a good noise. While I can't go too quickly, you can tell we're in a limited zone and I need to let the car warm up. Good time to kind of introduce today's topic, which is I've now had this car for a year and a half, which is a pretty considerable amount of time. I mean, I didn't have in mind how long, oh, it's gonna become bright all of a sudden. I didn't have in mind how long I really wanted to keep this car, but it's now been a year and a half, pretty much. And how do I feel about it? You know, what's the ownership review of having had, you know, been lucky enough to drive this car a lot? You know, I've done a lot of miles in this car. I've had some great memories with this car. So what is the conclusion? Was it a good decision? Is it worth buying a Ferrari? Because it is a completely different experience to any other buying experience I've had, at least in the past. You know, Lotus, Alpine, Audi R8, all these things I've been lucky enough to own. Oh, you hear that? The Ferrari's been a completely unique experience, and yeah, I was wondering before I bought this, you know, is it something I should really be doing? What do I think about this? You know, I was looking for all sorts of reviews, so today we're going to talk about it. So this car, over the last 18 months, it's been a weird 18 months because obviously of COVID and everything that's gone on there. I haven't been able to do everything I wanted to do with it. You know, I wanted to go on road trips with this car. I wanted to take it to Maranello. There's some things I still really want to do with it, and I hope I'll get the opportunity to. And it's actually one of the reasons I've been holding back on selling this car. So, you know, the first part of whether this was a good decision or not comes down to financials, because lucky for me, the 430 Scuderia model in particular has actually held its value throughout COVID and the car market taking a bit of a hit. This model, and specifically also in this spec, has actually done pretty well. And I have had offers recently which were higher, considerably higher than what I paid for the car. So naturally, no matter how much you love a car, it does make you think, you know, is it worth keeping the car, especially now that I'm driving with it a bit less. But that's a whole different conversation. But one of the reasons I turned down those offers was because I haven't been able to do what I wanted to do with the car yet, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll get there eventually. The engine's starting to warm up a bit. It's incredibly low, so you need to be very careful on these speed bumps. This road I take a lot, so I know this road well. Oh, that noise! Worth opening the windows a bit. That's with all the windows closed, by the way, that noise. Oh, we're still going to let her warm up a bit. So the simple answer is I have enjoyed owning this car so much, much more than I even expected I would, because of this. The character that this car has is so unique. And you know, through this YouTube channel, I've been lucky enough to, you know, drive a few different cars from different brands, but there is something so special about Ferrari. Now, what has it cost me? How many miles have I done? What's it like living with this thing? Well, it has cost me less than what you'd maybe think in a year and a half. Now, it's not inexpensive, especially because this is a 2009 model car. I have had to put, I think, about 3,000 euros in maintenance in the car in total, whether that's just little touch-ups here and there. For example, I redid some of the Alcantara on the inside, little things like, for example, the paint starts crackling sometimes on the brake calipers, so I redid the brake calipers, so they're completely brand new. Service, which was 1,500 euros, a few things like that. So all in, it's cost me probably ballpark figure around 3,000 euros, which, you know, is a considerable amount of money, but it's not terrible for a year and a half of having some of this, which is pretty unreal. Now, I was lucky to buy this car, and you have to be really careful with Ferraris on which one you buy, because you can get some serious dogs, like you can get some cars which will never cause you problems. So this one I bought with only 5% ceramic brake wear and 5% clutch wear, and those two things have made the biggest difference for me. Because if you buy a car which may be slightly cheaper on the market but has 60-70% clutch wear, that will end up costing you thousands, tens of thousands to replace the brakes and the clutch. So that's why you have to do your research really carefully before buying one of these. And if you get a good one, it shouldn't cause too many problems. You know, 18 months I've realized just how much of an occasion this car is. Every time you get in and drive it, it still feels just as special on a beautiful day like today when you come and drive with this car. It's something that you'll never really get used to, at least that I've never gotten used to. So would I do it again? Absolutely. Would I be careful about the specific model? Yes, and the specific model down to even just the specific car and its history. That's the biggest thing I learned coming out of this, because having spoken to friends who have also bought similar model year Ferraris and have had problems, is all down to the car you buy. So that's been the main lesson for me. It is definitely you know, sometimes a little bit tricky, as you saw. You know, I had to adjust the parking situation because the parking at my house with the lift is a little bit complicated. So, you know, there are definitely things you need to think of with a car such as this that you don't with others. But 18 months on, this specific car, the 430 Scuderia, I absolutely love. Now, there are a few things. Now, for some reason, Ferrari decided to put on all of the buttons, so around the air controls here, around the Manettino switch, this like weird glue stuff, which after, so it had just been redone when I bought the car, so you didn't notice it at all, but after a while starts kind of coming unstuck and has this weird effect, and that I'm starting to see now. So I don't know why they did that, but it's almost like just after a year it really started coming out. Now everything you touch is kind of sticky. If you've been in one of these cars before, you'll know what I'm talking about. So that's one thing that I kind of didn't expect. Another thing is the front lights, the front headlights start crackling after a while with humidity. All 430s do that. That's something I've had to deal with, so I ended up tinting the lights so you see them less, but all 430s have that, and it's about, I think, 4,500 euros per headlight because they're carbon fiber to replace. So I obviously decided not to go forward with that. But apart from that, it's been no problems. The single clutch gearbox has been really easy to live with. It's low, but you can actually get around most places quite well because there's not a huge overhang over the front wheels. Overall, it's been a pretty simple, straightforward experience. It wasn't even as hard as I thought it would be to get insured, because most people who drive these leave them in collections. So it's not a particularly hard car to insure either. The boot is pretty big round front, so I've been able to actually use this almost daily at points. Oh, that sound is unreal. It's pretty spacious inside. Wow. What a car.